Is it time to move? Is it time to move on from Tua Tagovailoa?
I wouldn't say completely move on, but I would say they definitely need to either draft a guy who they can trust or go out and get a guy. Maybe they need a Zach Wilson. It kind of can be the same situation how Arizona was a few years ago. A little different just because Arizona drafted Josh Rosen third overall, well 10th overall, one of those, and he was supposed to be the guy, and he only had maybe the season to try to prove that he was the guy. And after 1 year, Kyler Murray came in and replaced him. But that situation a little different because it was a head coaching change. So with Tua, is it's injuries involved, especially like the mental aspect. So maybe they do need to go out and get a Jimmy G. Shit, Jimmy G. I can see them getting Jimmy G. Mike McDaniels. 49ers don't need Jimmy G no more. They got a Brock Purdy, Trey Lance. Shit, why not? Why not go
Why
get
not
Jimmy
try
G?
to get a Brock Purdy though? Why not go? Why not trade the bag? Try to bring Brock Purdy to the
But that,
Dolphins.
but that's the
Maybe
thing
Trey
though.
Lance.
The Dolphins ain't gonna do that.
Nah.
They not gonna do that.
All right. Well, like
And
you
they
said,
and they my bad to cut you off. I'm gonna say they don't really got any pieces to trade because they trade their first rounder. They got Tyreek Hill, they got Waddle, they got weapons, and they don't really got too many pieces to trade. So shit, they really might need to go out and get Jimmy G in free agency.
Well, today Ian Rappaport
Mm-hmm.
reported Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is once again in the NFL's concussion protocol. His
See,
status for this week's game is against the Patriots is now in doubt, and this is kind of scary. This is now kind of technically only a second, but the week prior, remember when we all thought he was concussion? They said it was a back. I really feel like that was his third interception, and I don't know if the video I seen was correct, but a
concussion.
lot of people, in the concussion video I seen one of the videos and it looked like he fell on the back of his head once again. I don't know if that was the play
Damn.
that they're giving him his concussion, but the play that I seen, he fell on the back of his head. He was trying to run away. He got tackled and he fell just like that once again. And I think it's time for it. I don't know if he's gonna retire, but Tua, if he's gonna keep playing this quarterback position, he's gonna have to bulking up. He's gonna have to get stronger and bigger as a quarterback because there's no way that you should fall like that every single time. You're not protecting yourself when it keeps happening the same way. At some point, you got to look at the guy that's carrying the ball and not just the game of football. But what's your take on this? Is Tua Tagovailoa coming back? What's going on with the
Um,
Dolphins?
if he's healthy enough to come back, well, if his mind is right and if he's healthy enough to come back for playoffs, then I would make sure I would basically play him in the playoffs. I wouldn't let him come back during the regular season. 22 games left. I understand they are,
They're on a race to
potentially
not
low
making
key.
it.
Yeah, exactly. They potentially still fighting for a playoff spot. So, I don't know. It's tricky right now with the Dolphins. Not. They got a backup quarterback. They got Teddy Bridgewater. We were just talking about backup quarterbacks. You got to have a solid backup, and Teddy Bridgewater is definitely a accredited backup. So I would hand the keys to Bridgewater for these next 2 games. To be honest, in my opinion.
Okay, and since he's coming off a concussion, let's say they do decide to sit him out, and then they decided
Mm-hmm.
to just continue the season with Teddy Bridgewater. They don't end up making the playoffs. Now you got a real
Mm-hmm.
problem on your hands. Now it's really like, okay, we really don't have to keep Tua. You can use that as the excuse. We don't want to keep him on the team because of concussion, and we feel like because of his injury history or his injury past that it might be time to move on and bring in another quarterback. So Dolphins could use this as a chance to get rid of Tua.
And
I don't.
it's not that they want to get rid of him. It's just they gotta think about the bigger picture in a sense because Tua already had injury, questions surrounding him when he first came out of Alabama. He had messed up his ribs, and at the same time, he had a messed up ankle, going into the
Yeah,
draft. So that was a thing right there, and he's been healthy and it's pretty well until
it
this
starts from
season.
the
He started
head.
really
Yeah,
suffering those concussions. Yeah, from the head injury. So that's just scary in his own right because the NFL they've really been cracking down on these concussions and shit. This is just like you said, it's technically his third concussion just because that first concussion where they ruled it was a back injury. That boy was woozy. That boy had a concussion. And
yeah, that
then
boy
that
was
second
superstar.
game, the second game that's when he got carted off. And then now this game it's his third concussion. So, bro, 3 concussions in one season, let alone in your
And,
career, that's kind of dangerous.
and that's what I'm saying. So how do you feel Tua Tagovailoa feels? Does he even feel like he wants to come back and play again as a player? how could you not feel scared? You seen him with Calvin Johnson. We seen with the dude from the Niners. We seen, I guess, Luke Kuechly. We seen a lot of guys kind of retire early. Even Andrew Luck. We seen a lot of guys retire because of injuries and concussion scares. And now that's 3 in the
Yeah,
season. I don't know. Like you got to think about your kids. You got to think about your mom, your father, and
family.
it's like
Yeah,
your whole family. And it's really as he got to protect himself more. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's not like somebody's just.
yeah,
It's not like he's receiving headshots. It's not like somebody's going helmet to helmet. It's literally him falling on the back of his head every time in the same
yeah.
in the same state of form. But
No, that's why it's tricky. Just because, yeah, like as a quarterback, it is hard to protect yourself at times, especially a head injury, because you so focused on trying to throw the ball and deliver a great ball. You don't even sometimes even see the hit coming. It can come, from the air hole shot, like you in the pocket. It can come from like the backside. So sometimes it really is hard. I just feel like the best thing you can do, maybe as a quarterback, I've seen Aaron Rodgers do it before too. When he had suffered concussion, switch your helmet. You got to switch your helmet, see what helmet probably fits better or protects you better. I would suggest maybe Tua switch his helmet. Maybe go get a helmet that. I mean, you can't really prevent concussions majority of the time, but some of these helmets might make it harder for you to get a concussion. So maybe go out there and get a new helmet and see how that works.